Welcome to the Furthermore podcast.
I'm learning a lot from as you know, I'm very sheltered and squishy. So you are.
Yeah.
It is my distinct pleasure to have my good friend and comedian colleague Hans Kim. Hans Kim, how's it going?
It's going stupendous. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing well. I'm a little energized and somewhat caffeinated. I exercised earlier, but doing well. But I'm really happy to have you here, Hans Kim. For viewers, Hans is a comedian, a seasoned comedian that I met in Baltimore at Zismos on a Friday night. I was doing a guest spot, and big fan of Hans Kim's set comedy content. So Hans, why don't you tell us, give us an overview about your comedy journey, what got you started, how long you've been doing it, and how you got to where you are today, kind of comedically.
So comedically, right now, I would say I am in Seattle, but how I got here is I went to school for mechanical engineering just to sort of do something with my life, and then I got fired from my job, and I moved back to Seattle from Chattanooga, and I was listening to a lot of Mr. Joe Rogan Experience. And he was like, comedy is a meritocracy. The more you do it, the better you get. And I was like, oh, so let's do that then. You know, it's because there's a hierarchy and it rewards hard work. It's like you don't have to be pretty or you don't have to have any sort of natural talent. You can just sort of figure it out and get better at it. So I just plugged away in Seattle for 4 years.
So you're finding your voice on stage, and the different potential theories as to what personas you may have. Yeah,
it's freeing because I can choose what I want to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I definitely relate to that.
I had a lot of fun in Seattle for 4 years, just doing comedy and learning about comedy, and just Seattle is a very humorless place. Everyone's taking themselves really seriously and ready to get offended. So in some ways it's like running through sand, and it's like the best place to do comedy. But also it's like a lot of smart, young, rich people. So that's good too. And then I did a Seattle International Comedy Competition, and I got 5th place.
Nice.
3 years into comedy, so that was like the crown jewel of my achievements in Seattle. And then cool. I won the Make Danny Bonaducci Laugh competition.
Very cool.
So pretty good at doing that.
Yeah,
making Danny Bonaducci laugh.
No, that's awesome. Great stuff. Something I resonated with your set, your content speaks to a couple different things, and I'll just kind of bring them up both more or less at the same time. One of which was your support for Andrew Yang. I'm a big Andrew Yang fan, supporter, advocate. I volunteered heavily for his campaign. Yes, we got the YG. I don't know if they should be switched. The Star Trek sign has also gained traction in the Yang Gang.
Nice.
Yes, we can. Yes.
YG.
Yeah, there's so many YG combinations and permutations.
Young gangsta.
Yeah, so if you could maybe walk us through your Yang Gang journey and maybe how that came up in your comedy set or your perspectives in life and comedy. Talk to us about the Yang Gang journey, if you will.
I'll walk down the gangplank. Gangplank. I heard of Andrew Yang, I forget, but then I went to his rally in Washington Square Park when I was in New York City, which I moved to for comedy and stayed there for 2 or 3 years until the pandemic hit. And then I saw him in person, and he gave a really good speech. Like, I don't even know he was doing it, but he was giving me ammo and weapons to use for arguments and debates. And afterwards, I told people I went to Andrew Yang, and they'd be like, but how would that even work? And I was like, oh, you just tax the software companies. Technology is booming, and they can use that money to fund us, the people who are going to be out of a job. And they're like, that would never work. And I was like, actually, they do it in Alaska with the oil money. And then I just sort of, he was like one of those people that I support. I don't know if I want him to rule the world, but he's like a great person, one of the cool people in the world. And I think that's it's cool that the internet has brought that. The internet shows us examples of how to be good people. So
Right.
just try to gather as many of those people in my feed.
Definitely. Yeah. No, and I don't know that Andrew himself would want to rule the world, and if he did, he would do it. I trust that he would do it for the right reasons. With with like UBI and giving everyone an economic floor.
What is hashtag van life?
Could you talk about van life and the origins of that?
Yeah, so I started my hashtag van life in 2017, and I was living in a house, and I had a mechanical engineering job in New York, and I was like, this is a lot of money to live very far away from all the mics and waste all my life and my daytime doing spending energy. And I missed a couple first mics in New York, because in New York it starts at like 5 p.m., 3 p.m. I missed it. But it allowed me to get out there and go do more mics. And I was like, the more that I do that, the better, because this is just a waste of time. Doing a job is like, I don't want to be here. I'm not doing anything for the company. Right. And then I got fired from that job.
Okay, gotcha.
That's where most of my stories start. And so then I bought a van off Craigslist. It was the shittiest van. It had a crack in the window. There was the engine didn't start. The battery kept dying, and it was $700, which is 1 month of rent. So I was like, it's mine. I'm doing it. And the dude that sold it to me didn't have the title for it. He's like, I just had it. I don't know where it went. So I had to like leave it by his place, his mechanic shop. And I tried to bring it over to my house, and it got towed, and I have to pay like $300 to get it out. But anyways, I bought it, and I lived in it for like a year, like a small minivan where I took out everything in the back and I insulated it, and I just slept on the bottom. I used to have a sink in there that was too big, and it took up all the space, and I took it out, and it was like, it's like living in a mansion now.
Oh,
so
interesting. Okay.
And I parked it right by the creek in the cave. They have mics there at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 11 p.m. every night. So, and then on the weekends, they start at 4 or something. I forget. It's been a long time. But I just camp out there, do every mic there, 2.5 minutes of hot fire, and you just get better, man.
Yeah. You
it's
said
just, it's
the
so
creek
hard.
in the cave?
Yeah, LIC.
There's a Sunday night online talent show that I participate in, run by, I believe, Creek in the Cave and the guy.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, Snuffleupagus T. Handsome. Yes.
And Madame Bouge.
Yes, Ed Madame Bouge. Yes.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Is that online during the pandemic?
Yes, the online Sunday nights, they pay participants $5. I can send you the Google form.
Thank you.
If you Google NYC online talent show or go on one of their pages, I'm sure.
Yeah, they used to do that in person, and they paid you.
Yeah. So I guess they took that online, and I discovered them during this pandemic online, and wow.
Yeah.
That is cool, man.
Yeah. They do it at the Creek in the Cave with no audience.
No, it's essentially kind of, the format is kind of what we're doing now. They use a streaming service, I believe StreamYard, and everyone's sort of at their respective places. And I mean, the stage is sort of, you're spotlighted kind of, via StreamYard, and everyone's at their own place.
About Craigslist.
I have never purchased anything on Craigslist, and I don't know that I've ever technically been on the website that is Craigslist. Did you use Craigslist for anything? Craigslist for anything before the van?
Yeah, I get everything from there. I got my new van from Craigslist.
Oh wow! So literally everything. Okay.
Yeah, I got sinks. If you go there, they have a section that's called free. It's like inconvenient for them. You can just come pick it up. So I got my dresser. I got a bunch of drawers, and you can find anything on there. You can set up a Craigslist alert. So anytime someone puts up a free TV, I get an email now, and I can be the first to ask. Yeah. So it's just information.
Is there any, what's the incentive for someone to post something that they're giving something away for free on Craigslist, or maybe a credit?
It's taking up too much space. They want to get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, you're right. Because the other alternative would just be to kind of like throw it away or some obscure. Yeah, no,
Yeah, then you have to pay the dump fee.
right. That makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot from as you know, I'm very sheltered and squishy. So you are.
Yeah.
Politics.
So for me, like before I discovered Andrew Yang, I was generically a Bernie Sanders type of guy. But how do you describe your kind of general political views and maybe like if Andrew Yang didn't run, like who would you have set back to or like supported or resonated with?
I really like this guy Richard Wolff right now. He's an economist, and I guess he's a socialist. But I think his whole theory is capitalism is predicated on employee-employer relationships, where someone pays you to do something, and then that person has all the power. The employer has all the power, and the employee has nothing. And that's just like another version of feudalism. It's just the name of the people in charge have changed.
Right.
So I think that if you have a company, that profit shouldn't just go to one person. It should go to everyone in that company that worked for it. And that way you have more money going to the people and not just to one person. And,
Right.
the country doesn't become a commodity for one person to own.
Right. This whole winner take all, or it's very severe.
Yeah.
This capitalism and its implications.
I like that the fact that the profit goes to everyone in a company rather than just giving everyone money, because I feel like it accomplishes the same thing but without the annoying notion of giving shit away for free and people who don't deserve it. The Republican idea, even though I don't think it would be that bad. I don't think it's a necessary step. I think that we can do something different, but it's like they're just against any change. If you give people money for free, they're like, that's just communism. And if you have the profits of a company go to the people who work for it, which is not a crazy idea, they say that's communism. So it's like, what is their choice? What is their option? They just want to keep doing what they're doing. And we know that doesn't work. We know that produces inequality.
Right. I actually did not know that the latter description has been misconstrued as communism, where the members of a company get a portion of the profits. That's
Yeah.
been like misconstrued as communism.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
it's collectively owned. You
What?
mean one person can't steal everything? That's not capitalism.
Huh. Okay. Gotcha. Well, yeah. Well, I resonate with a lot of with what you're describing, and but no, I think this has been awesome. Do you have any words of wisdom and or advice for, let's say, the Asian American male that's tied up in a day job they don't want to be at and wants to take a stab at stand-up comedy? Do you have any advice for that person?
So the Asian American man, I don't know if comedy is the right answer for everyone, but I think it's a great art form because it's available to anyone and it's your ideas and everyone's expressing themselves and everyone's exchanging ideas, and I think that's wonderful. I think we need more of that. But whatever your pursuit is, don't try to just survive. Try to live a full life and do things that you like instead of just like, paying rent and like going away on the weekend on a jet ski to make up for all the life that you've wasted,
Mm-hmm.
and then killing yourself in an accident because you're trying to fill that hole. Don't work for a society that has done nothing for you and doesn't need you and is exploiting you.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Hans. It's been a huge pleasure and always a good time speaking to you.